We're using few hammers, few punches, and make that beautiful charm happen. That's why working in layers is very effective, perfectly, and going around, great. No. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're making charms for that beautiful toggle bracelet we made in the last video, and I told you I will show you that, and that involves lots of hammering in the process, but you know how I love to hammer my pieces. That finish of the surface is something else. It always looks way thicker than it is. That's why we can play around with thinner metal and bend thinner metal as well, because hammering does that hardening part to the piece and it always looks more sturdy, because you want your pieces to be lightweight but to have that sturdy construction. So in this one, I'm just giving you that lightweight and sturdy construction, and I truly love those charms. If you want to start to hammer your pieces out, I totally recommend to start with heart shape. And for this one, you actually can use round bases. So punches are like, they're like a dream to use it for the hearts. If you don't have punches, have it. Even from my videos, you can see how much I actually do use them, because they're irreplaceable. There is nothing like it. You can experiment on them. You can use them various of ways. Like really. We're using few hammers, few punches, and make that beautiful charm happen. And this one is very cool because it's double-sided. So we have a heart from one side and a heart from other side when the piece is actually spinning, because charm bracelets spins 1,000 times in a day for sure in various directions. That's why it was so important for me to not have a bad side, you know? So it's very nice to have that good side from both sides. So we will create all of that and it will be a very cool jewelry piece. So yeah, let's get started. We're starting everything by cutting some hearts from the sheet. I will show you how I'm cutting 2 hearts, but I did cut a lot of them. Same shapes, but different sizes. When we're cutting, it's very important not to forget that we have 3 teeth per cut rule. That means that 3 saw blade teeth has to be in contact when you are sawing. That's how you know when the saw is good for your sheet. Usually now I can tell by the sound how it's going. You know, if the sound is harsh for your ears, usually the saw blade is not great. But it's worthy. It saves a lot of time in other steps. And now after filing, we're finally hammering the shape. We're hammering annealed metal, so it's soft. We can work on it. And I'm very happy to announce that this video is sponsored by GRANDE, which is a huge jewelry supply store where I'm buying the most of my supplies from. I can't recommend the store enough. They have different categories from where you can choose from silver, tools, equipment, whatever you might need for your beautiful jewelry creations. And they're giving you a code with $20 off your shipping price. Thank you, GRANDE, for sponsoring this video. You don't want to hit the same spot every time because you will thin metal out. That's why working in layers is very effective, because you begin from the bottom and just come gradually to the top part. In this way, we can always be in control and know that we're actually not hitting the same spot. While I'm hammering, you can see that my hammer always hitting the same spot. I'm trying just to move with my heart on that punch. That makes it easier because you don't have to navigate everything. Because here I'm stable with my hammer. I'm hammering just one spot all the time, while with other hand, I'm moving with my heart on that round punch and creating that shape in that way. And I have to mention that we're working with 0.5 millimeter thickness of the metal. Now we're putting our hearts on the block because we need to have flat bottom. We raised everything up. Sometimes it looks like a mess. Don't worry, we can fix everything. Even bad hammering could be fixed if it's not like thinned out metal. So you put it on the block, take it narrow head hammer, and go just on the edges. Try not to hit the heart itself because you will ruin all the work that you did before. But even though you would hit it, you can raise it again. This is how it works with metal if you won't outstretch it, because if you will outstretch it, it will break apart. We will have some splitting. So be careful with that. Now when the first round is done, we can anneal our metal again and do kind of the same steps again. Let's say for this size of the heart, I call it like middle size of the heart, I was using number 6 with my punches, just so you would know if you want the same size of the heart. But just play around and experiment with punches, because it can lead you to a way quicker way how to shape the heart as well. And it really depends how much you want to raise it, how much you want to curve it and make all that rounded 3D view, or you want to raise it just a bit. Then you can just get away with one size of the punch for the heart. Each heart would have different size of the punch, of course, because you need smaller as you go down. And now we're finishing the second round and putting that on a metal block again, just to flatten it out again. This time I used one of my Repuse tools. Maybe you can find something similar in your tool drawer. You just basically need something to push metal down exactly where the place is. But we don't need to close it fully because we need a bit of open space on the top of the heart, just that air could go out while we're soldering. We always need some kind of hole if we're doing 3D soldering. When we pushed all the hearts down, it's time to sand the bottom part, because we want to connect both sides of the hearts. We need to have the edge back. Sometimes it gets squished in a hammering process, and we want to have the thickness too, because more thick you will have that edge, easier it will be to solder both parts together. Now it's time to solder. And if you did a good job to making that flat edge, we won't have any problem in soldering station, because hearts kind of stick together, especially when you heat them up, because borax gets sticky and it just sticks with each other. It's way easier to solder as well. We just need to have a good edge, and soldering won't be that hard. In this part, the hardest part is to make all that hard the same temperature. So as you can see, sometimes my upper hard was way hotter than my down part. That's why we have more coming up with the solder itself, and we have that blah. I call it blah all the time. So it's very important how you will move the flame around your heart. You want to keep that heat going throughout all that piece you want to solder. Then your soldering will be a blast, really. That solder is just going into the seam perfectly and going around. Great. Now we're coming back to filing, because we want to create a true charm, and true charm needs to be hanged onto something. So we need
kind of a hanger. Hanger we will make out of the jump ring. As you can see now, I'm using burnishing tool to clean that gap between my hearts because it's very nice way to make a hole pretty and all the edges to be burnished. So sometimes I do use burnishing tools just to make that place very clean and shiny because to reach that place it will be very hard after we will solder that jump ring. Now we're cutting that jump ring that we will use for our heart. The best shape is just to measure exactly what you need for your piece. Exact shape, how it's going on the top. You want to make lines with the Sharpie, the direction you have to cut, and cut it as much as you need and ruin as much jump rings as you need as well, just to make a good fitting when it comes to this place, because everything with soldering is just about good fitting. If you will try your best and you will have that beautiful fitting, soldering will be very easy at this point. This time we need a third hand for sure because we need to have everything stable here. Heart is curved in various ways. We want stability when it comes to hanging part. When we use a third hand, don't forget it's a huge heatsink. We need to make sure that we're heating that up as well. I have separate video about third hands when it comes to soldering, so I will link that here if you haven't seen it. It takes some time and practice to actually get along with third hand.
We will polish all of the charms now. They are so cool and tiny. Some of them are tiny and falling. Yeah, but they're very, very cool. I love all of the sizes. Like, really, it's so pretty to look at. And you want to use baking soda for this one because we have holes in it. We're leaving holes in the top part. That's why when you're taking that out of your acid, make sure you're putting that in the baking soda. Baking soda will stop acid to work. It's kind of destroying your piece if you left it too long. Usually I'm using baking soda just when I have more complex pieces. So if you have intricate pieces, use it because you don't want active acid for too long on your pieces. And yeah, so let's sand and we will come back.
But before sanding, we need to clean excess solder and we need to prepare all of the hanging part that would be pretty and going very beautifully with our piece. For that, I was using round file. Then I was using braided deco wheels, the small ones. They're really nice when we have something like this where we can't reach it fully, but that wheel truly goes around and reach all the area. I like those, really. I do recommend. Then I went on the edge with my sponge. It kind of blurred everything out and create a very beautiful edge around all of the heart. And to finish that all off, I used the deco wheels, the red one and the blue one, and went through all of the hearts. Of course, don't forget the movement, the direction, and the movement is the most important part when you're sanding and polishing. It will determine how your piece will look like in the end. So pay attention to that always. And finally, after all that sanding and all that work, we can hang our charms on our toggle bracelet. It's, you know, it's something when you work so much and you can finally put them on to actual jewelry piece. It's nice. It's really nice. But we still have to solder some jump rings that connecting our charms with our bracelet. Of course, after soldering, we need to clean again, cleaning quite a lot before putting that in a tumbler. Tumbler gives even more shiny finish, so for this piece, I was seeking for that. And voila, we have a beautiful charm bracelet. Hello, after I don't even know how many days later, because this piece was quite a big one, you know? Like I wanted to just make so many hearts and charms in this bracelet, but it's totally worth it. I love this bracelet. Like I truly love it. Like all that it hangs. And yeah, it was a lot of work. And actually I spend the most time on polishing and sanding because I'm a freak when it comes to polishing and sanding. So I desperately wanted to put that in the tumbler, but we have those holes in the hearts, which is very not good to put in a tumbler if you have holes in your pieces, because all those small metal balls will come in and stay there. And your piece will be basically ruined because you don't want different metal with your silver. It will just tarnish way quicker because it always touches that metal. So you want to be careful. That's why I was like spinning my mind how to close those holes. And I tested that teeth picker because it was very good choice to put those in. I thought it can like get out just from vibration when you're thumbling your pieces, you know, but actually it didn't fall out as you saw from the video. And I thought it could get very soft and that would be a very big problem to take it out, but actually it didn't. It held that hardness that it has, and I had to like take that out with the force as well. Like I was putting that with the force as well. And now I'm very happy with this piece. I will put that on. And we will have that clasp part in the video because we have smaller one here. The bracelet I showed you before had a bigger one, so I will put those sizes in one video for you. So we have all the movement and it's like gliding on my hand so nicely. Actually, it's very soft to the touch and yeah. I don't have any problems. I'm fussing with this one. If you have questions or suggestions, let's meet in the comment section and I hope you like it. And I will see you in my next one.